and we serve the customer and we don't serve our company. That's second. The customer.
Excellent motive. I think I hope most of the companies have same motive, and I can feel it when I come here. I've heard a lot. I've seen the news, but today I've seen it here. You know, there's a wind turbines going on here. There's a solar panel. Is reality, and logistics, I think, can play a big part in making this world greener and achieve those carbon neutral goals.
We have interior architects who actually help with the interior of the offices to have a pleasant working environment, which is nowadays, I think, really important for people.
This video is brought to you by us, SCMDOJO. We provide awesome courses, guides, best practices for supply chain community.
Hi folks, welcome to one more episode of the Supply Chain Show. So I was here in Netherlands meeting some customers and some friends. Armin, who is one of my first customer, I mentioned, the CEO of NUNNER Logistics, he invited me for a meeting. And I'm pleased to be here. It's fantastic. I think this summer is starting, right?
Excellent.
Today we're going to talk about contract logistics. What is contract logistics? What are the basically solutions, problems? What does the future look like? And why this area is almost like the hub of contract logistics. Today I've got Meindert.
Yes.
He is the Director of Contract Logistics. Thank you for the show.
Thank you for having us.
Good. So tell us about yourself a bit and what NUNNER does so guys will know.
Okay, well, thank you for having us and visiting us. I'm Meindert de Louw. I'm 47 years old. I work for NUNNER Logistics since last year. I have a background in industrial engineering. I used to work in the logistics area for more than 20 years. Various companies, big corporates, also the consulting. I just recently moved to NUNNER to start with a new adventure.
Right.
And this is why we're here now.
That's great. So I know Netherlands, or especially this area, is almost like a hub of logistics for the whole Europe, right? So I've seen a lot of companies here. So what is contract logistics? So for anybody who doesn't know, how you define it?
I think the reason why the Netherlands is a logistics hub is because of a couple of things. Right. Of course, it's the infrastructure.
Right.
You have a good connection with the harbor. You have good educated people. They speak their languages. It's very international also. And it's also close, let's say, connection to Germany, to France. So it's very central, also close to the UK. So it's basically the central hub of let's say, Northern Europe. Now, on top of that, we have a very good infrastructure here. So it's not just on the road, but also rail and also in water. Short sea, deep sea. So I think that's why the Netherlands is...
And the Silk Road coming in.
Silk Road as well coming in. So that's also something we are very strong in. So that's, I think, why it's a hotspot. Contract logistics. Well, NUNNER is a global company, but our strength, I think, is specifically in being a local hero. So what do I mean with that is that on one hand, we are a global corporate company where we have a lot of buying power and also on top of that flexibility. What we try to do is have with the local solutions that we have, that we have really tailor-made solutions for our customers. If there's changing demand, we can easily shift up and down with volume, different requirements, fluctuations in the requirements as well. And that's, I think, a little bit the different way how we position ourselves compared to the big corporates. The CEO and the owner of the company is one phone call away. And our sites, our operations have generally a lot of mandate and power, let's say, and autonomy to decide for themselves what's best for the customer. And not for the company.
Your individual country heads, you mean?
And we serve the customer and we don't serve our company. That's second. The customer.
Excellent motive. I think I hope most of the companies have same motive, and I can feel it when I come here. So when I was working with a big corporation, and big corporation, I work for manufacturing companies, I work for Eaton, Bridgestone. So this is our core competency. Logistics is not our core competency. That goes with most of the manufacturing, I guess. So with that said, and we used to outsource our logistics, let's call it, activities to the contract logistics people. So what kind of customers you deal with here in this region?
Well, we have a big variety of customers, but for us, the business fit and the cultural fit is really important.
Right.
I think the big global corporates, they have a certain clientele.
Right.
For us, we position ourselves specifically in being very flexible, and also translating the problem of the customer into a tailor-made solution.
Right.
Having said that, we need to also have flexible IT systems. That's also something we are quite strong in already, but still are developing that as well. And on top of that, I think the autonomy that the sites have to actually deal with changing demand, changing volatility in the market, with all the different changes. I think markets are becoming more and more volatile and uncertain. And that's why I think the key decider and the unique selling point for NUNNER is also to be much more flexible than the big corporates, let's say.
So your customers are FMCG, manufacturing,
retail,
distribution, retail, and so on and so forth. So that makes sense. But as you mentioned already, the times are challenging, especially if you think about Europe, where most of your customer base is and your operations are. It's pretty challenging because the economic downturn is not going to get any easy. The buying power is getting less and less. So how you as the partner, right, as a logistics partner, helping your clients to mitigate and actually help out into those challenging times. Yeah. What kind of things are you doing?
Yeah, I think, and just to give you one example, last year we had quite a challenging situation where actually the volumes and inbound volumes were quite high.
Right.
And actually the outbound volumes were quite stable. So we had to scale up really quickly. Right. And here just an environment where we opened 3 temporary warehouses in 1 year.
Wow.
Just to show, let's say, the flexibility. On the other hand, it's also, I think the customer is always king. We have to deal with, let's say, changing circumstances, and of course within a certain bandwidth, what is realistic. But that's, I think, something for us to decide based on the customer profile, the demands, the requirements, and what's really important for the customer. We look at what should be the best solution, let's say, for this particular customer. And where we have, let's say, a clear framework, let's say, from the central headquarters, where we say, okay, this is the bandwidth where we can deal with. The autonomy is really on the local level, so it's easier to deal with. Yeah. And what we also do is in terms of automation, in terms of IT, but also mechanical automation, robotization. We are not the party to have an end-to-end fully automated system for 5 years, because we don't believe in that, and I think it's for other companies. I think we are better off in, because we believe in being flexible. We also look at customers that ask the flexibility to have modular systems and modular solutions that we can bolt onto the solution, or that we can increase capacity or decrease capacity and reuse this solution for potentially other customers, or that we can level, let's say, and level the workload to them.
So, if I'm not your existing customer, where should I start? How can I start business with you?
Yeah, I think actually that's one of the strongest parts of NUNNER. Starting with greenfield operations. If there's a clear demand or like the development coming up, I think we're happy to engage with our customers or potential customers to discuss, okay, well, what is it you need? And then we can also provide a solution for this customer and say what's possible.
Yeah, so when I was driving here with Erwin, I just realized you got a big, you got a big DB Schenker warehouse, you got this DSV, you got it's almost like a supermarket of the big names in the logistics industry. So I feel there must be a challenge to find good people to work in the logistics environment, warehouses and all that. Because when I was in UK, for example, supply chain manager, especially in summer, when European people move around, it was very difficult to find people actually to work in the warehousing environment. So do you think there's a challenge you face?
Yeah, there's definitely a challenge, and I mean, in these times, I think it's getting more and more difficult. On the other hand, I mean, everybody has the same problem. So the way we try to deal with that is as follows: we try to have as many people on a NUNNER contract as possible, depending on the workload and the type of business we have, of course. So we don't have too many when there's a troughs in the volume, and then there's peaks. We try to deal and brief that from an operational point of view with our fixed partners. So we have three fixed partners who help us with the temp agencies, so temporary workers, migrant workers, and also office workers. So there's the 3 different categories. On top of that, we believe it's also really important to coach, to guide people, to develop them. We spent quite some investments in training as well with people. And on top of that, we also have, let's say, other operations where we try to level, let's say, the workload and move people from left to right when necessary.
I mean, that's a great strategy. So anybody who's working in this environment and how to manage people and find people is you, and how to retain, because the culture is important. And I want to second Meindert's point here, because this is where SCMDOJO got working relationship with NUNNER Logistics, because we have given access to all our courses of supply chain at SCMDOJO, which is now Arvind has mandated that all the NUNNER employees should do those courses, so they can feel developed with the point of time. They continue to enhance the competencies in essentially helping you out. So anybody who's in logistics business, contact us. We can help out like we do in NUNNER. Right now, let's start looking to future. Right now, so future in 2 parts. The first part, I want to focus on sustainability, which is a big important aspects in logistics and would be a key differentiator. When I was again working in, I've seen your roof is full of like how many thousands solar panel you have, right? So tell us what's happening and how much energy you're producing and how you're helping the local community.
Yeah, on just this warehouse, we have 100,000 square meters of solar panel.
100? How much?
100,000, so that's the whole group.
100,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
That provides more or less to 4,000 households of energy here in the region.
Wow, amazing.
So we're delivering back to the net.
So you are carbon negative.
Here we're carbon negative. Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I think NUNNER is also one of the first logistics service providers in the Netherlands to have an off-the-grid warehouse. We opened it last year in 𝐕𝐚𝐴𝐳𝐵𝐿.
Right.
That is one of our other warehouses. And they're completely off the grid, so they're self-sustaining and zero net fill.
Amazing. So that's so almost a great example how logistics warehouses are basically helping the community and being carbon neutral, because in Europe that will become mandated by 2030 or something.
2030, and already there's some legislation going on. And on top of that, because we have modern warehouses, it's also easier, let's say, to attract people to come work for us, because offices are modern. They're also we have interior architects who actually help with the interior of the offices, so have a pleasant working environment, which is nowadays, I think, really important for people. And on top of that, what I haven't mentioned before with people is that we also have a subject matter expert team who are, let's say, much more senior, let's say, than on site level, who are actually a central team who can assist at local sites with difficult problems that they have for a certain period of time, for example. So that's also the flexibility, let's say, to for implementations or for development of solutions.
So the companies are challenged, chief supply chain officers, to drive the supply chain into more carbon neutral, right? So working with you, they can achieve this goal pretty easily. No, that's great. So now the future of logistics is getting very challenging, right? Because of the cost pressure, the technology is moving so fast. People talking about automation, right? So how you see the future of logistics being into contract logistics business? So what are the challenges, maybe top two, and what are the top two opportunities you want to mention?
Yeah, I think the challenges is personnel.
Right.
I mean, we in the Netherlands especially, but I think all over Europe, personnel is getting more and more difficult to find. So that's why we also invest much more heavily, let's say, in personnel than, let's say, 5 years ago. I think the key deciders for supply chain logistics or contract logistics is to be flexible, because the world is changing quickly. There's a lot of volatility. Also external factors that we cannot influence, but also our customers sometimes cannot influence. And last year, the Corona period, also the closing of the Chinese harbors was a great example. And so then you can stick to a certain contract they agree, but I think it's more important to see how you can solve and deal with the issues on hand together with the customer. So we're really looking for strategic partnerships, long-term 5-10 years partnerships, where we actually have a mutual and global plan, let's say, to say how do we approach this issue, instead of, let's say, the short contracts that some other customers have. So we're really looking for this business fit, cultural fit, but also, let's say, company fit.
Now, so I want to move to 𝐸𝐚𝐴𝐳𝐿 is, we are in Middle East, right? We're in Dubai. We know the amount of development happening in Middle East, especially Saudi, right? Now, Dubai is also one of the established logistics hubs anyway. So if you see the top 10 ports or in the world right now, the Middle East, Saudi, Dubai, they will come in top 10. So, and there is the MBS, who's the Prince of Saudi, have announced the big logistics partnership with DHL, and Aramco has a big partnership with DHL. So it's going there. So, but I don't see. So what's NUNNER plan to be in this game, right? So what's happening there? What do you see? How you can contribute to this?
NUNNER Logistics. Now we're talking specifically about contract logistics. But NUNNER Logistics is a bigger company. We also have a integrated line on, let's say, between different countries, a European pallet network from and to all the countries. But also we have the Silk Road, with the rail connection, which is really important. And on top of that, we also have, let's say, all the shipping and air freight services as well. And that part of, let's say, this whole supply chain solution is the building block is contract logistics, which we talk about today. But we also have the connection. So for us, we're open, let's say, to any opportunity if it retains contract logistics.
I remember now. I have one more question in my mind which I thought I can ask you. Is this. So when I go into any conferences, big warehouse saying logistics conferences, there is always this fetish and obsession with automation, right? And then there's people coming in showing, robot pallets moving around, showing that off. There's automation solutions going on, auto picking, drones doing cycle counting, all that. Okay, all fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
But to be honest, even I came here and I walked around your warehouses and other warehouses I go. The reality is far from it, right? So why this whole, let's call it, show of the automation? The reality is different. Being you in the contract logistics, so I'm sure you have some practical implications or practical view of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as Nunner, we really had a hard look, let's say, at the whole automation and the pros and cons. If customers are looking for the end-to-end solution in robotics and automation, then Nunner is not the company.
Right.
I think we believe that the flexibility here comes again, but the volatility you have, I think it's merely impossible, let's say, to look ahead 5 years and build a business case for an investment on 5 years volume.
Absolutely.
Because after 1 year something changes and then you're stuck with your automation solutions where it's not flexible. So we believe in automation, but what we do is we invest in modular solutions that we can reuse for other customers or for other volumes, so that you actually can scale up or scale down without throwing the baby away with the bathwater, basically. And so yes, we believe in automation, also cycle counting with drones, totally believe in that. But what we do is we invest and develop solutions that we can either reuse for other customers and also replicate on other sites, so that they're modular and that we can just bolt on the volume and the solution for different sites.
Amazing. I mean, I learned a lot today. I think contract logistics, I know a bit, but today anybody who wants to know what contract logistics is, what are the activities involved, how can they not just add to value to a customer, also add a value to the society. In fact, with the sustainability effort, it's pretty inspiring actually, I must say. It's very inspiring. And I can see that I've heard a lot, I've seen the news, but today I've seen it here. There's a wind turbines going on here, there's a solar panel, is reality, and logistics, I think, can play a big part in making this world greener and achieve those carbon neutral goals. And Nunner here is, I would say, leading by example. So congratulations, and I like the focus you have on people, because again, a lot of leaders say stuff, people are our asset, but they don't focus, and you guys are focusing here.
Absolutely.
Again, a great example. So I'm very thankful for your time here. Thank you for being transparent and sharing this knowledge with our SCM supply chain community here. Right, so thank you for this. So, any final thoughts before you go?
Yeah, thank you for visiting us, and we're happy to have you. And once again, if anybody's interested in getting to know more of Nunner, we have a website, but also free to contact me or our CEO.
Right.
And we're happy to discuss.
How they can find you? Can give some what is the email or the website?
On the internet, it's www.nunner.com.
That's it.
That's
simple.
it.
And
simple as
they'll
that.
find you.
Yeah.
That's great. That's how you should do business, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, mate. Hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody who comes in and spend their time, like and subscribe us. So thank you for this, and hopefully we'll come back with a couple of more interesting videos which I am recording tomorrow. So watch the space for all the good stuff you're doing. Right?
Okay.
Take care. Ciao.
Bye bye.